Joining me now, Managing Partner and Director of Economic Policy Research, Veda Partners, Henrietta Trez, and former Republican Congressman from Pennsylvania and Executive Director of the Aspen Institute Congressional Program, Charlie Dent. NBC's Christine Romans is here with me on set. Take us through these tariffs. Do we know the impact, the cost?
Yeah, so most economists think it's going to take about 3 months roughly for the higher costs to work their way through the system. And remember, those costs could be either what consumers pay or they could be in job cuts or companies that aren't expanding the way they would have. So there could be a lot of different ways it plays out. When you're talking about the EU and 30% tariffs, these two countries together, the U.S. and that trading bloc of 27 nations, that's 30% of global trade. The president is trying to rewire the global trading system, and these trading partners are saying this could maybe break the global trading system. You'll have new allies, new alliances with the U.S., potentially less influential there. The president is saying that, everyone wants the U.S. market. Everyone wants access to the mighty American consumers, so they need to pay up to do that. But you're talking about significant new costs into the trading system. And you look at Brazil. Brazil has a surplus with the a surplus. That's what the president wants. And he's still talking about 50% tariffs against them. That would mean higher coffee prices, higher orange juice prices for American consumers.
Because he wants to insert himself in their judiciary,
That's right.
Which the president has said that he's not going to be able to do. Henrietta, how worried should the average American consumer be? I mean, maybe they're looking at prices and they say it hasn't been as bad as some people thought it might be, but what about these latest trade escalations from Trump?
Well, for the average consumer, I don't know about everybody else, but I've got 2 kids. And when you're thinking about how to go back to school shopping, the disproportionate hit to the American consumer from these tariffs comes in the textiles and footwear and clothing, everything you're buying to go back to school. So, for example, a pair of sneakers for a kid, call it $50. Now those are going to be $70. It's a roughly 40% increase that is being estimated from the Yale Budget Lab that's going to hit the
what
American
percent?
37 and 38% for shoes and athletic wear. Anything that you're buying for back to school, basically.
Wow. Okay, yeah. Charlie, 37%. What's the political impact if your pocketbook impact is that?
Well, political impact is bad. These tariffs are taxes. This is a massive tax increase on American consumers and businesses, as was just pointed out, on athletic wear and sneakers. This is the problem. And by the way, you just put up that message from the president about how America is being ripped off. It's simply not true. I mean, we have to rebut this better because let's take almonds. Shelled almonds. The European Union imposes a 3.5% tariff on almonds from all countries, including the United States. But then the United States put in tariffs on European steel and aluminum. And so what did the Europeans do? They responded with, I think, a 25% tariff on American almonds. But that's only going against the U.S. almond growers. The point I'm making is the president is creating now a discriminatory system against us where it did not exist previously. So the politics, I think, of this is very bad because, one, you're raising taxes, you're raising costs on people. And I know a lot of Republican members I serve with in Congress. They don't buy any of this stuff. They do not support this. They tend to be for opening markets and lower tariffs, not higher tariffs. So I think the politics of this plays badly. And once you get into August, once these tariffs do take effect, that's when I think we feel the real impact. And that's when I think, the rubber really will meet the road and this becomes a much more serious issue.
Will it get worse, Henrietta? How likely do you think it is other countries will come together, create a trading bloc without the U.S.?
Well, I think that there's no question in my mind that the tariffs are going to rise. And it's not just the blanket tariffs that we're talking about when the president tweets out, 30, 40, 50%. It's the sectoral tariffs. So your pharmaceutical goods are going to go up by what he said was like 200%. Now, that's going to go into effect about a year from now, but you better believe that they're going to be stockpiling, pulling forward, and trying to make these changes domestically and internationally to avoid those tariffs. So the massive amount of uncertainty makes this more than just a one-time hit that might be able to avoid inflation. This is a permanent feature of the second Trump term that I expect will last for the next 3.5 years. Now that the One Big Beautiful Bill is done and finished, and we've gotten all of the tax break that you can expect to get, the main legislative vehicle the president has for the rest of his term is through the executive branch, and that's going to be through imposing tariffs. So you're seeing it on Brazil over their political appetites. You're seeing it on Russia just hours ago on whether or not they stop the war in Ukraine. The president is taking tariffs into the political realm explicitly and away from just trade deficits. So tariffs are definitely going to rise from here, and it'll be on a sector by sector, country by country basis that we have to constantly adapt to, which creates massive uncertainty for the business community and for consumers.
But let me ask you about this, Henrietta. I just called up CNBC.com, okay? Stocks edge higher as traders bet on lower tariffs before August 1st. Not significantly, it's up about 70 points. But there was a Wall Street Journal survey that found economists expect stronger growth in job creation, lower risk of recession, cooler inflation than they did just 3 months ago. So where's the disconnect?
Well, that's a little bit misguided just because the 3 months ago time period, we were going into massive, peak trade uncertainty. That was Liberation Day. So the economists have pulled back from sort of the depths of despair. So don't take any kind of massive good news. I talk to those economists all day long and to investors. And in every single email or exchange you have with an investor right now, they'll say the tariff inflation hit hasn't hit yet. And the word yet is constantly in there. And the reality is that companies front end loaded and pulled forward their imports. And that's going to be something that they have the ability to do until August. And we're expecting CPI data tomorrow to start slowly inching up further and further. And if you go to the grocery store, you've already seen it. You know that coffee is expensive. You know that inflation has massive impacts on everything from the steel and aluminum tariffs to your washing machines. If you bought a washing machine in the last month, you know what I'm talking about. That's the direction that this is headed. And it's going to be more of a slow bleed instead of, chopping off your arm.
We only have a minute here, Charlie, but let me ask you, do you think that this could be, it's going to get worse, but then get better? And I'm talking about Ukraine, when the president thought he could just make peace happen. Now he seems to understand that Vladimir Putin is not somebody who can be trusted. Look at what's going on with FEMA. Everybody was talking in the administration about getting rid of it. Then people die in horrific flooding, little kids. And now it's like, well, it really just needs a readjustment. Is there a reality check that's coming on this for this administration?
Well, on FEMA or on trade? Well, on FEMA.
On trade. On trade. Is it going to follow trade in Ukraine and he's going to change his tune?
Well, I certainly hope so. But it seems that the president is convinced of the righteousness of his tariff policy. He seems to think somehow that we are going to bring all this manufacturing back to our country, in spite of the evidence that suggests that American manufacturers right now are having to make very difficult decisions, investment decisions, which they can't make. The uncertainty and unpredictability is creating a paralysis among many investors in the U.S. who aren't sure, they are holding off on investments because of this uncertainty. I fear the president is going to go ahead with these tariffs despite the evidence. I hope he pulls back. He should pull back. But right now, I'm anxious that, he's been called a taco, Trump always chickens out. And I think that's getting to him. And so is he going to chicken out again, or I hope he does, or is he going to go forward and wreak havoc on the American economy with these tariffs? And it's going to be bad for manufacturers and farmers here. We all know that.